All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's got the AI world buzzing, OpenAGI.
Yeah, this is some seriously cool stuff.
And from what I've been seeing, it has the potential to, completely change the game when it comes to AI agents,
Oh, absolutely. It's a,
isn't
a
it?
total game changer. What we're seeing with OpenAGI is this really fascinating shift, moving away from AI that's just focused on doing one thing,
Right.
just single tasks. And we're going towards something so much bigger, so much more ambitious, systems designed to solve problems that have multiple steps. And the key to all of this is this idea of combining those powerful large language models that everybody's talking about with real, actual expertise from the real world.
So we're not just asking AI to, write us a poem or summarize an article anymore.
Exactly.
We're talking about agents that can actually grapple with,
Yeah.
messy, complicated problems, the kind we face every day. And that's where this paper that we're looking at comes in, right? OpenAGI. When LLMs meet domain experts. Did I get that right?
Nailed it. That paper really lays the foundation for everything OpenAGI is trying to do.
Okay.
It's not just some abstract concept, it's an actual framework.
Hmm.
And people are using it right now to build some seriously impressive AI agents.
And get this, it's open source.
That's the best part.
So anyone can just jump in, start tinkering, contributing, building on what's already there. That's what has me so pumped about this. But let's back up a second. For folks who are just tuning in and maybe hearing about OpenAGI for the first time, what are we even talking about here?
Okay, so at its core, OpenAGI is like this package,
Right.
a set of tools. And what it lets you do is build these really specialized AI agents.
Okay.
Think of it as a platform, a place where you can bring together the raw power of a large language model with really specific knowledge from a particular field.
Okay, so like finance, healthcare, law, whatever.
Precisely, whatever you can think of.
Got it.
It's as if you're giving these LLMs, which are already pretty smart on their own, a specialized toolkit, right? Plus a super detailed set of instructions for a very specific job. And the open part, well, that means this toolkit is constantly getting updates, improvements, it's evolving as more and more people add their own pieces to it.
And that's what makes it so powerful, right? So how does this actually work in practice? Let's say I wanted to start using OpenAGI. What would I actually do?
Well, one of the things that makes OpenAGI so awesome, so easy to use, is its structure. It's really simple. The way they designed it, if you want to add a new agent, all you got to do is drop it into a specific folder. It's super intuitive, even if you're not a coding whiz.
See, that's what I was wondering, because when I hear AI agent, my brain immediately goes to, lines of code I don't understand and algorithms, and it all seems really intimidating. But it sounds like OpenAGI is designed for, regular people to use.
Oh, totally. They've put a lot of effort into making the whole process as easy as possible. And to make things even smoother, there's this really cool feature you can upload and download agents. That means you can tap into this huge library of agents that other people have already built, shared with the world.
Hold on, so you're telling me I could just download an agent that someone else built,
Yeah.
say, for financial analysis, and I could just use it?
Boom. That's the idea. It's all about bringing this incredible technology to a bigger audience, not just AI specialists, but anyone who can benefit from it.
Yeah. So that accountant who doesn't know how to code but knows everything about finance
Yeah.
could help build an agent that's like the ultimate financial tool.
Precisely. And that's why this whole thing about combining those super smart LLMs with real lived experience is so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting a computer to do boring tasks for us. It's about creating AI that really understands a field, that can reason, strategize, just like an expert would.
It's like having a whole team of AI specialists at your fingertips, each one an expert in something different, ready to tackle any challenge you throw at them. That's a game changer for any organization,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the possibilities are mind-blowing.
They truly are, and that's exactly what we're going to be exploring throughout this deep dive, how OpenAGI is being used in all sorts of sectors, from healthcare to business and even scientific research, you name it.
Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break down some of those potential uses for everyone listening. What are some real-world, tangible examples of how you could use OpenAGI?
All right, let's start with the business world.
Okay, perfect.
One area where OpenAGI could have a massive impact is data analysis.
Okay.
And, of course, decision making, which goes hand in hand with that.
So instead of having a whole team of analysts spending hours and hours hunched over spreadsheets, you could have an AI agent doing that heavy lifting, sifting through all that data.
Exactly. And it wouldn't just be faster, it could actually uncover those hidden insights that we humans might miss.
Like what?
Think about market trends, how customers behave. You could even use it to identify potential risks before they become a problem.
Or find opportunities that no one else has noticed.
Absolutely. So it's not just about automating those tedious tasks, it's about giving businesses a real edge, letting them use AI to make smarter, more informed decisions.
That's super powerful.
hmm
But what about other areas, like healthcare? There's so much buzz about AI in medicine these days. How does OpenAGI fit into all that?
Well, one of the most promising uses in healthcare is in figuring out what's wrong with people and then creating those personalized treatment plans. Imagine this, an AI agent that can analyze someone's entire medical history, their genetic information,
Wow.
their lifestyle choices, and put it all together to come up with a treatment plan that's tailor-made for them.
That's incredible. It's like having a whole team of doctors and specialists working together, but instead of being limited by, human constraints, you've got this AI agent that can process tons of data in a fraction of the time. That
Wow.
could totally change the way healthcare works.
It really has the potential to revolutionize things. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface here. We're seeing uses in research, education, even creative fields like music and art. OpenAGI is basically blowing open the doors for how we can use AI to solve problems and invent new things. It's really incredible.
It's mind-blowing, the
Mm.
possibilities. Okay, so we've got this crazy powerful tool that's making these AI agents more accessible and more adaptable than ever before. We talked about how it works, this idea of combining LLMs with real-world expertise. And we've even touched on a few potential ways to use it, but I'm curious about the downsides. Because nothing's perfect, right?
Right.
What are some of the challenges, the limitations that come with a project like OpenAGI?
You're right, nothing's perfect. And one of the biggest challenges with OpenAGI, and really with any AI, is making sure it's used responsibly. We need to be incredibly careful about the data we feed these agents. We need to make sure they're not picking up biases, making decisions that could have, like, unintended consequences.
It's like that saying, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. We have to think about the big picture, about the potential impact.
And make sure we're using this incredible power for good.
Ah.
I gotta admit, though, this is all pretty exciting stuff. It feels like we're standing on the edge of something huge, a breakthrough in how we use AI.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
And the best part is, it's all happening out in the open. Anyone can get involved, learn, help shape the future of this technology. It's incredible.
It really is.
So what's next for OpenAGI? What do you see happening down the road?
Well, one thing I'm really excited about is the potential for something called AI-powered organizations. They call them AIOS for short.
Okay, what's that?
Imagine a company that's run by AI.
Wait, what? Run by AI? That sounds like science fiction.
It might sound futuristic, but it's becoming more and more realistic with tools like OpenAGI.
Wow.
And I want to be clear, it's not about getting rid of people entirely. It's about using AI to enhance what humans can do, taking over the tasks that are best suited for machines so we can focus on what we're good at: creativity, innovation, building relationships.
Okay, now you're really making me think. This could completely change the game, not just for businesses, but for whole industries.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. For someone who's just learning about OpenAGI, what's the one big takeaway they should remember?
I'd say this. OpenAGI is a fundamental shift in how we think about and use AI. It's about making this powerful technology available to everyone.
That's a great point.
It's about making AI more accessible, more versatile, and ultimately more beneficial for all of us. It's about democratizing AI.
I love that. And I think that's a message that's going to resonate with a lot of people. So for those listening who are thinking, this OpenAGI thing sounds amazing, I want to learn more, how should they get started? Where should they go?
Head straight to the OpenAGI project on GitHub. That's the hub for everything. You'll find documentation, tutorials, code examples, everything you need to dive right in. And hey, don't be shy. Reach out to the community if you have questions. It's full of friendly, helpful people. They're always happy to have new folks join in.
That's great advice. We'll definitely include a link to the OpenAGI GitHub page in the show notes.
Perfect.
And for anyone who's even remotely curious about the future of AI, go check it out. You might be surprised by what you find.
It's an incredible time to be following all this, that's for sure. And OpenAGI is definitely one to watch.
All right, so in this first part of our deep dive into OpenAGI, we've covered a lot. We talked about what it is, how it works, and what it can be used for. We even touched on some of the ethical questions that come up, but we're just getting started. In the next part, we'll be taking a closer look at how OpenAGI is being used in specific industries and exploring some real-world examples of AI agents in action. So stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to our deep dive on OpenAGI. Before the break, we were talking about all the amazing things OpenAGI can do, and I think it's time to get into some real-world examples.
Yes. Let's see this thing in action.
Okay, so one area where OpenAGI is already making waves is scientific research.
I've heard about that. Like helping scientists analyze huge amounts of data.
Exactly, and it's leading to some really significant discoveries, actually.
That's awesome.
Think about fields like genomics or astrophysics,
Yeah.
climate science. These are areas where researchers are dealing with incredibly complex, massive data sets.
Right.
And trying to sift through all that data, trying to find meaningful patterns, it's a huge challenge.
Yeah, it sounds overwhelming.
It is, but that's where OpenAGI comes in. It's proving to be incredibly valuable in this area.
So it's like having an AI assistant that can handle the really tedious part of data analysis.
Exactly. That way the scientists can focus on what they're best at, interpreting the results, coming up with new hypotheses, and actually making those breakthroughs.
That's amazing. So it's not just about speed and efficiency. It's about using AI to help us understand the world better.
Absolutely. It's about accelerating scientific discovery. And it's not just about doing things faster, it's about uncovering things that humans might miss entirely.
Oh, interesting. Like what kinds of things?
Well, these agents can look at data from all sorts of different sources and make connections that we might not even see.
Okay.
They can spot correlations that aren't obvious to us, and they can even generate hypotheses that we can then go and test. It's pretty mind-blowing.
So it's like AI is becoming a partner in the scientific process. Can you give us a concrete example of how this is playing out in a particular field?
Sure. Let's take drug discovery.
Okay.
Developing new drugs is notoriously difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is just finding promising candidates. There are so many possibilities.
So many compounds to test. Yeah.
Right. But now, researchers are using OpenAGI to build agents that can analyze huge databases of chemical compounds.
Okay.
And these agents can actually predict how effective a compound might be against a particular disease.
Wow.
They can even suggest modifications that could make the drug work even better.
So instead of years and years of trial and error, which is super costly, scientists can use AI to narrow down the options.
Exactly, and focus on the leads that are most likely to pan out.
It's like AI is accelerating the whole process and potentially saving lives in the process.
Precisely. It's really revolutionary. And we're seeing similar things happening in other fields, too,
Oh, like what?
like materials science.
Okay.
Researchers are using AI agents to design new materials with specific properties. And even in climate modeling,
Oh, wow.
these agents are helping us predict the effects of climate change with more accuracy.
It's amazing to see how AI is transforming these fields that used to be solely driven by human expertise. What about the business world? We talked about data analysis earlier, but I'm sure there are other ways businesses can use OpenAGI.
Oh, absolutely. One area that I think has huge potential is customer service.
Yeah. Okay, tell me more about that.
Just imagine an AI agent that can handle all those routine customer inquiries,
Right.
answer questions, solve common problems, and it could do it quickly and efficiently 24/7.
Yeah. Much better than being stuck on hold with the call center.
Exactly. And these agents could even offer personalized recommendations based on a customer's past interactions. It would completely transform the customer experience.
That would be incredible. So instead of dealing with frustrating automated menus and long wait times, you could be having a real conversation with an AI that actually understands your needs. It would be a game changer.
It really would. And it would free up those human customer service reps to focus on the really complex cases,
The ones that require a human touch.
Exactly, the ones that need empathy, creativity, those uniquely human skills. And we're also starting to see OpenAGI being used in marketing and sales. Imagine AI agents that can personalize marketing campaigns, find new leads, even automate parts of the sales process. It's pretty exciting stuff.
So it's about making businesses more efficient, more customer-centric, and ultimately more successful. It sounds like a win-win for everyone involved. But let's be real for a second. Implementing a technology like this in a big company, it's not easy. What are some of the challenges that businesses might face?
You're right, it's not a walk in the park. One of the biggest hurdles is integration.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
OpenAGI is powerful, but it has to work with the systems a company already has in place.
Got it.
So it needs to be integrated with their existing workflows, databases, all that stuff.
That makes sense.
And that can be tricky. It can require some serious technical know-how.
So it's not just about downloading an agent and letting it loose on your data. You need to have a plan, make sure it fits into your overall strategy.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of data quality.
Oh, right.
AI agents are only as good as the data you feed them.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. So companies need to make sure they have clean, accurate data and that it's unbiased.
Otherwise, you're just going to end up with an AI that repeats the same mistakes we do.
Precisely. And that could lead to some really bad decisions.
That's a crucial point. It's a good reminder that AI is a tool, and it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so we've talked about how OpenAGI is being used in scientific research and the business world, and we've touched on some of the challenges that come with implementing this technology. But before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, AI-powered organizations, or AIS.
Ah, yes, the AIOS. It's a concept that's both fascinating and a little bit intimidating.
It definitely is. I mean, the idea of a company being run by AI sounds like something out of science fiction.
It does, doesn't it?
But with tools like OpenAGI, it's starting to feel more and more like a real possibility.
I agree.
But I have to be honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what that would actually look like. Could you walk us through a potential scenario of how an AIOS might function?
Sure. Imagine a company where AI agents are integrated into every single level of the operation, from the big strategic decisions down to the everyday tasks. You might have an agent that's in charge of analyzing market trends and finding new business opportunities.
So it's like having a 247 market research team that never gets tired.
Exactly. And you might have another agent that's managing the company's finances, optimizing budgets, looking for potential risks.
It's like having a superpowered CFO that can analyze data at lightning speed. But what about the humans? Where do people fit into this AI-driven world?
That's the key question. The goal of an AIOS is not to replace humans entirely. It's about augmenting our abilities, letting AI handle the things it's good at so we can focus on the things we excel at.
So things like creativity, critical thinking, those uniquely human skills. It's like a partnership between humans and AI.
Exactly. Each side leveraging its own strengths to achieve a common goal.
That makes a lot of sense. But it also raises questions about the future of work. If AI is taking over more and more tasks, what does that mean for human employment?
That's a tough one, and there's no easy answer. But I think one thing is clear. The way we work is going to change dramatically in the coming years.
How so?
We're going to see a shift away from those repetitive manual tasks that can be easily automated. And the jobs of the future are going to require higher level thinking, creativity, and interpersonal skills.
So it's not about humans versus AI. It's about humans and AI working together to create a more efficient, productive, and hopefully more fulfilling work environment.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the best of both worlds.
That's a vision I can definitely get behind.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's bring it back to the present. For our listener who's just starting to explore the world of OpenAGI, what are some practical steps they can take to get involved?
The best place to start is the OpenAGI project on GitHub. They've got everything you need. Documentation, tutorials, code examples.
Perfect. We'll make sure to link to that in the show notes.
Great.
And for anyone who's even remotely curious about the future of AI, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a fascinating world, and it's changing rapidly.
It really is an exciting time to be following all of this. And with tools like OpenAGI, the possibilities are truly endless.
So we've talked about how OpenAGI can revolutionize whole industries, right?
Right.
And even change the way organizations function, the way they work. It's obviously not just some niche tech thing. It
Yeah.
really could affect everyone. But what I think our listeners are wondering now is, okay, all of this sounds amazing, but where do I fit in?
That's a really good question. And the answer is OpenAGI is built on this idea of being accessible. It's collaborative. You don't have to be an AI expert working in some fancy lab to get involved. You don't even have to know how to code.
Wait, so you're telling me that I could potentially contribute to this whole OpenAGI movement?
Absolutely, 100%. There are already so many agents out there
Yeah.
ready to go, pre-built agents that you can download and start using immediately.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like an app store, but for AI agents.
I love that.
So let's say you want to automate posting stuff on social media. There's probably an agent for that.
Okay.
Need help summarizing those long research papers. Boom, there's an agent for that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you could be using AI to make your life easier, to be more efficient, without needing to know any coding at all.
Exactly. But for those who do know how to code, there are even more opportunities.
Well,
OpenAGI gives developers this really powerful platform where they can build and share their own custom agents. And the cool thing is, you don't have to start from scratch. You can take an existing agent and tweak it, customize it to fit exactly what you need, or you can build a brand new one from the ground up. They've got all the tools and documentation you'd need.
so it's like having this giant box of Legos,
Yeah.
But for AI,
Exactly.
you can mix and match the pieces, experiment, and see what you can build.
Yeah.
And because it's all open source, you can learn from what others are doing, get feedback, and even share your own creations back with the community.
Precisely. And that's what makes this whole thing so special. It's this collaborative spirit, you know?
Yeah,
It's not just individual developers off doing their own thing. It's a global community of people all working together, pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
that's really cool. It's like this massive brain trust, but for AI development.
Exactly. But with all this talk about open source and people contributing their own creations, how do they ensure quality? I mean, anyone can upload an agent, right? How do we know if these things are safe and reliable?
You're right. That's a really important point. And it's something the OpenAGI community takes very seriously.
Yeah.
They have a really rigorous review process.
Okay.
Before any agent is made public, other developers test it out. They look at the code, make sure it meets certain standards. So it's like peer review for AI agents.
That makes sense. But what about after an agent is released? Is there any kind of ongoing monitoring?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it's all open source, anyone can look at the code, report bugs, suggest improvements. It's constantly evolving. And the community is super active in making sure these agents are safe and high quality. That's good to hear. It's like a reminder that with all this incredible power comes responsibility. And it sounds like the OpenAGI community is taking that seriously. But beyond all the technical stuff, what really gets me excited about OpenAGI is this. It's democratizing AI. It's not just for those big tech companies or research labs anymore.
Right.
It's something that everyone can be a part of.
And that's what makes it so transformative. It's about empowering people, individuals, and organizations to use AI to make the world a better place.
Totally. So as we wrap up our deep dive into OpenAGI, is there one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
If you're even a tiny bit curious about what you've heard today, take that first step. Head over to the OpenAGI project on GitHub.
Okay.
Look around, explore the documentation, maybe even download an agent and play around with it. See what you can do. You might be surprised at what you discover.
Who knows? You might just build the next AI agent that changes the world.
You never know. The future of AI is being written right now, and with OpenAGI, anyone can be a part of it.
That's awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time.